News time is 8 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 8 o'clock newscast. We stream to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. A Central Illinois veteran has opened a business just outside of Clinton. Rick Knowles is a veteran who has opened Knowles Motors on Clinton's south side in the old Martin auction space. He tells Regional Radio he buys and restores various vehicles for resale.
Basically, Knowles Motor, we're a very small family veteran-owned business. We don't really focus on quantity. We focus more on quality. So we don't carry a huge inventory. Like I said, we're a really small company. And when you come in and talk to anybody here, you're talking to an owner of the business. We can get just about anything from, cheap gas saver commuter cars on up to, $50,000, $60,000 diesel trucks. We have the means to get just about any of that, but you're getting the small town, small town vibe, family owned. You're dealing direct. We're not a big corporate conglomerate. We source our vehicles from all over the place. We're of course at dealer auctions. I'm a licensed rebuilder as well, so we buy a lot of salvage title stuff and go through the rebuild process. One of the things you're going to start seeing out here a lot is hail damaged vehicles. So there'll be newer late model cars that have some hail damage, and I can remember growing up years ago, people would flock to dealers when they found out they had a storm and they had a bunch of hail damaged cars because they realize the value they're getting in that. And if they can deal with a few bumps and dimples on the car, they're getting a really nice car for thousands less than what you would have normally have to pay for that car.
According to Knowles, there's also a small building that is part of his outfit, and his son will run a resale shop. This won't be your typical secondhand thrift store type of place.
So basically, when we got this location, we had more space inside than what we needed for a car sales office. And I'm just the type of guy, I acquire different things from all over the place, and I can see value in them. So my son and I and my fiance, we decided to open up a resale shop. So you could kind of think of it as kind of along the lines of a thrift store. We don't really focus on antiques. We do have some antiques and collector type items, but a lot of it is your everyday use type stuff. We do have a lot of new product that we get in that we buy from big box retailers that may be customer returns or shelf pulls or things like that. That's something else that we do here. We also are getting ready. You'll see some signs coming up here soon. We do shipping container sales and rental. That's getting to be a big thing as far as for people to have secure storage at their location, be it permanent or temporary. We are going to have some out here for rent as well, as in like just mini storage type things.
Sure. Knowles indicates the vehicle sales side of his business won't be like a lot of big dealerships with financial backing from many institutions and a large fleet. He explains they will do some trading in, but he encourages checking on their website for the latest on their inventory and coming ready with your own financing.
So basically, we do accept trade-ins. We have to be very selective when we do that. Again, we're not some of the big car stores that have a whole lot of fluff and markup in their vehicles so they can give you an over-exorbitant amount on your trade-in for your car. We're very realistic. We price our cars very aggressively. A lot of times people will get confused and they don't realize that we are a dealer. And I jokingly tell them that well, that's because we're a dealer that has our cars priced at private party pricing. We try to work with a trade-in if we can. We can't always make it work. We don't have huge financial backing. We own pretty much all the cars that we have here. We don't carry a big floor plan like a lot of dealerships do. We don't offer any in-house financing. What we found out, we prefer people to just go to their local banks or arrange their own financing or be able to just come in and buy a car outright. Not to knock any of the places that do that, but we've just found out that a lot of the places where you can get in-house financing, the cost of that financing is just so extremely high, and Sometimes that's the only way people can get a car, and I understand that, but a lot of times it just makes it to where there's just not enough money left to be made without really kind of sticking it to somebody. And we're small town local people. I've got to be able to go home and sleep at night knowing that we took care of our customers, and somebody's not going to come back 6 months later figuring out they're completely upside down on their vehicle.
As far as the resale shop, Knowles indicates they acquire a lot of very nice things, and they have thrown away a lot of it. He's hoping to get connected with local nonprofits to make sure those items get used. Knowles Motors is open Tuesday through Friday, noon to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2. For more information, call or text 217-501-8000 or visit knowlesmotors.com. Knowles Motors is located at 9484 Meadowbrook Road next to the new Highway 51 exchange. A Monticello veteran is promoting his final book in a long-running series on various involvements by the United States around the globe. Dick Fox has penned 10 books based on his experience in the Vietnam War. He told Regional Radio he has long wanted to write about Vietnam because so many people do not know much about it.
Well, I always wanted to write about the Vietnam experience, mainly because so many people know so little about it. Mm-hmm. My other great intent was to write for the children and the grandchildren, the families of the veterans, mm-hmm. Because they know even less, especially today. The whole thing has been buried. And I wanted to write it from the perspective of a Marine in Vietnam in '68, but also from the perspective of what families are going through. Since then, I've studied that a lot. The Domestic Vietnam was the first book, and I didn't really know how to write a 500-page book. So it took a long time. Mm-hmm. I think it's really good. People mm-hmm. love it. Many people say it's the best book they've ever read. And so that kind of taught me how to write. My confusion was if I am in a Marine Vietnam situation and I'm concentrating on it and my eyes are beginning to bleed because I've been writing for 6 hours, then when I quit for the day, I was clumsy starting again the next day. And I finally figured out how to overcome that.
According to Fox, he researched Vietnam very heavily for his first book, then began researching Cuba, and that was what his second book was about. Each book focused on a different region of the world, and he recently published his final book in the 10-book series, Returning from Vietnam. Each book is between 400 and 500 pages of his research combined with his experiences in the Vietnam War.
I learned that military or government didn't have a clue what they were doing. Everything was a guess. Do you know what SOG is in NAM? Okay, it's Studies and Observations Group, a bland title for about everything they came up with that was supposed to be a strategy. The other thing I learned was there was military, industrial, and government. And it is in Vietnam that what I call the fourth prong came up. And that was a matter of Cold War, CIA stuff, and that's where the deep state started. So in Vietnam, they called everything SOG, Studies and Observation Group, and all of those strategies came from the deep state, mm-hmm. providing plausible deniability to military and government. The 10th book in the series is called Returning from Vietnam. It is the best ever. Yeah. They're all long books. They're all 400 to 520 pages. And I began to explain, Christy sent me a lot of research. I researched and researched and researched. I almost was annoyed that it delayed my writing, but once I started, it really flowed. And I talk about all those things.
For Fox, the desire to write about his experience in Vietnam started when he returned from his tour of duty, and things in America changed so much. Veterans of the war were treated very poorly, even in their journeys home. The 10 books written by Fox are available in digital copies only at the moment. For more information, email Fox at the Domestic Series 10 at gmail.com. The 10 books are $50 and, again, are only in digital form. News time is 17 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Monday. Coverage of news streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. A look at sports is next with second round high school playoff football recaps in sports.